What's up, peeps? Sorry if you're hearing water. It's fucking raining again. But anyway, today I'm doing two reviews. I'm doing this one and then one I didn't originally plan on doing, but I figured since I watched it and it's fresh in my mind, I'm gonna review Shazam: Theory of the Gods or Shazam, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm reviewing that later tonight at some point, but right now I'm doing 65. This is a movie I really wanted to be good because I was like a non-Jurassic Park dinosaur movie. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Jurassic Park, as y'all know, but I've been wanting like a big budget, dinosaur film that's not Jurassic, because the only ones like that seem to happen to are like low budget. We haven't had one yet, so I figured, oh, this is the opportunity. And Adam Driver, is a good actor. Yeah, he was in that dog shit sequel trilogy, but that wasn't his fault. That was Disney and all that shit. So I can't blame him. But I think this movie, rewatching it a second time, the first time I thought it was very middle of the road. I thought, there were some cool dino scenes, but watching it a second time, honestly, it's worse. I won't say it's terrible, but man, it feels like it's like there's a good concept, but they didn't explore it. What this movie should have probably been, I was talking to a couple people who said like, they could have did a lone survivor thing, which was a good idea, because might as well, because because Mills, which is Adam Driver's character, crash lands on, we don't know, but pretty much it's supposed to be Earth. He finds this little girl named Koa who can't speak English, so it doesn't work for me because he can't. I'm not saying in a dinosaur movie I need like the most amazing dialogue in the world, but my God, he can't talk to anybody because he got this girl who can't speak English. So yeah, you might as well just make it a lone survivor thing. But I was reading a couple comments, and one I actually really agree with is they should have made it like him and like a military team, like kind of like Predator. Basically, they're going on a mission. They all crash land. There should have been a couple survivors. Basically, is what a lot of, because you don't get a lot of, there's no deaths because they're not going to kill Adam Driver, and they're definitely not going to kill the little girl. And rewatching, the dino designs are terrible. I'm sorry. The T-Rex crocodile thing was cool. I thought that was a decent design, but everything else was weird. They looked more like aliens than dinosaurs, and I didn't really notice this the first time, but rewatching it, the lack of herbivores is kind of distracting, because what are these predators eating? Because that's what predators eat, are herbivores. So what the fuck are they eating? And it's apparently someone who like in the studio heads was like, oh, herbivores aren't scary, so it's like, did they not watch Lost World? That scene with the Stegosaurus fucking shit up. I mean, come on, man. And it's just distracting because you could say it's a nitpick, but I'm sorry. What the fuck are the predators and the carnivores eating? Are they eating each other? Because herbivores and carnivores have to eat something. That's how nature works. Ugh. But aside from that, there is some positive. Like, I do think Adam Driver tried. I'll give him that. But it's just the script was lacking. He had no one to really interact with because you're stuck with this little girl who can't speak English. So if you're just going to do that, basically Adam talking to him, so why not just have him be by himself if you're going to do that, you know? But yeah, he comes from this planet called Samaris, and he goes there because his wife, and he has to do something for his daughter who has like some medical problem. And my God, that's the other element I really do not like in this movie. They beat it in your head. Oh, he's thinking about his daughter over and over. Like every 5 minutes, there is some reference to his daughter. It is ridiculous. It takes me out of the movie because it's like, okay, why not just have his daughter go with him? Like, you could have had it to where she stowed away and now he has to protect his daughter. If you're gonna fucking do that, I get it. They were probably trying to go for like a Last of Us kind of thing. This guy, surrogate father, which, don't get me wrong, I do like that element, but I I wasn't feeling it. It's kind of boring. Nothing really happens when you have people not dying. You just can't make it compelling. You kind of would have made it more compelling if he was by himself, or he had like some kind of squad. It's distracting, and I do like the idea, and I think they also fucked up by not making it R-rated. I really do believe that. Like, you could have made yourself different from Jurassic. As much as I love Jurassic, I know that franchise will never go R-rated because of the kids. You know, they sell toys and all that shit. They're never gonna go R-rated. But it would have been interesting to see like an R-rated dinosaur movie. The only one I can know of is like a low budget movie called Carnosaur, which is decent, but it's very low budget, and a lot of people don't even know that movie. But I want like a big budget movie. But I don't know what is up with Hollywood being so scared to do R rated stuff. You're not. It's not like this movie's selling merch, as far as I know. So just make it R rated. There was some compel, like, cause he's on this mission. Meteor shower happens. He ends up crashing on Earth, and when because of the, it was cool seeing some of the dinosaurs, but it's very few and far between. No character moments, so it's just kind of a slog. So I really believe. So what I'm gonna do is tomorrow, instead of doing a review, I'm gonna talk about probably what I would have ended up doing with the movie. Because honestly, I just believe there's so much better ideas out there you could have done. Because I do believe the concept's there. You know, it had a Turok feel a little bit. I saw some people bring that up. Or I think another one was that I can't see is After Earth. But granted, this is a slightly better After Earth, but they had the same kind of thing. You're in this island, but they wasted it. It's wasted potentials. There's good concept there, but when you have Adam Driver not really be able to act against anybody, but I don't know. So yeah, he ends up finding this little girl. He has to try to get off the island, and the planet or whatever. They end up getting out of the planet. I'll admit the ending sequence was kind of fun, you know, with the planet about to be destroyed. So it's like they're about to be there when the planet, you know, gets hit with the meteors. That was kind of cool, but this movie, I honestly think should have been longer. I think if you had more characters and been a bit longer and not harp on the daughter thing too, because I do the interesting idea he's going to be away from his family for 2 years, as they say that in the beginning of the movie, is how long this mission's going to be. So it's like that is honestly a crazy amount. You could have explored that, not just his daughter either. Like it's like so he and I think about his wife, and I wasn't feeling this movie, man. So they end up finding out that the other half of the ship is on like a mountain. They have to try to get there so they can escape. And there's like you had these dinosaurs that like were on fours. You had this like it looked like it was like a mix of like a T Rex and like a crocodile because it was like on all fours, but it had like a head of a T Rex. I'll admit that sequence was kind of fun, but when they're not killing anything, it's and he saw these pterosaurs which looked cool, but they didn't do anything. So some of the dinosaurs looked cool, but and I think this movie was shot too dark too. It had Alien AVP Requiem problem, that same problem, where especially in the cave, my God, you couldn't see shit. It's like I get it, they're in a cave. Like a movie like The Descent, they managed to make it like you shoot in the cave, you can still see what's going on. But I don't know why a movie like this, which probably had a bigger budget, I'd assume. It's just there's some good ideas, but ultimately, I just think this is a wasted potential. So I would probably give it like maybe a 6. I don't know if I'd watch it again. Honestly, there's some good ideas here, and I just think they're so unexplored and untapped, almost untapped potential. That's probably what I'm gonna actually type title this video is untapped potential, because I think that's what this movie really was. Because unfortunately, it's not. I don't know if it's doing well or not, and I I don't think they didn't set it up for a sequel anyway. But theoretically, if you did it well, you could have. It's dinosaurs. You could always come back. Fucked up thing is, there's a movie my friend Mara brought up that basically reminded her of this movie. It was called Planet of the Dinosaurs. One aspect that movie got better, there was extra characters, so there was fodder. So at least people could die. There's no stakes when you have just two people and you know both are gonna survive. I just Because if you're okay, if you want to have steaks, if he's by himself, you can actually have more steaks because he's by himself in this dino plant. Granted, there should have been herbivores. It's just distracting to me for two reasons. The whole one, I just think it's stupid to not have it just because, oh, they're not scary even though you can. Triceratops will fuck you up, man. They have hordes. You have like the Stegosaurus, which has fucking blades or, like spikes at the end of its tail, and then you have like the shells on top of it. And Kylosaurus has a club fucking tail, which basically would break your body if you got hit by it. There's a bunch of herbivores that will fuck you up, man. As much as I don't really like that movie, Jurassic World Dominion had the Therizinosaurus, which is also herbivore. Sorry for all this dino, just lingo dropped randomly, but the Therizinosaurus has like these big ass claws, so it's like this idea herbivores can't fuck. I mean, even just in real life, you have fucking rhinoceros. Hippos are pretty much herbivores, and they fucking kill so many people. So this idea that herbivores can't be scary is retarded, especially with dinosaurs. You just look at all the species of herbivores there are, man. It's not just like the hadrosaurs, which are like the more, they're not necessarily aggressive. But anyway, I don't want to go too into dino stuff, but yeah. But yeah, this movie could have been much more, man. I wanted more from it. Maybe that's what I can. If you just look at this as a turn your brain off kind of movie and just some dino action for an hour and a half, I guess it's fine. That's why I'm kind of sitting at a 6. Is like I won't say it's like horrible, but it's kind of wasted potential. And I just think this movie could have been more. So anyway. Not saying it could have started a franchise, but it would have been interesting to just go that direction and maybe even just get a second movie. But anyway, so I'll get ready to get started later tonight. Shazam 2 review. I'll just say really quick, it's very meh. It's not going to be a rant, but it's not good either. So we'll talk about that later. But get ready to start 65. So we're introduced to Mills and his family, which it's another movie where they just you have all this technology and they don't really go into it. I hate movies like that. I hated it with After Earth. I don't like it here. Like, you have all this tech and you don't explain it. You don't explain like, how these guns work. I'm not saying I need like some uber long explanation, but give me something. Give me what's up with this planet, Samaras. Give me something instead of because we just go right into Mills has to go on this mission because he has a 2-year expedition because he has to get some money because their daughter has some kind of disease. Oh, Naveen's disease, I guess is what it's called. They don't really go into what it is, but she has this disease. He ends up telling her, he teaches her how to do this, like, I don't know, bird call. Like, then he just kind of jump right in. That's my other problem. It just feels like there's so much cut out. Because I don't know if they didn't want to go the full 2 hours, and we're like, okay, you got to keep it in that hour and a half. It's this weird, stupid. Like, there are times where I agree a movie should be like Shazam. In that case, that should have been an hour and a half. I'll go into that later. But it's just this movie. I think you could have made 2 hours, even just at 2 hours. I just think they needed to be a bit more. It just like they just jump right into he's crashing and he's about to crash, and they crashed on this planet. I guess it's supposed to be in the Cretaceous period. They don't explain anything. I don't like. I'm not like I don't need no long just exposition, but fuck, give me something. I'm all for like things just kind of existing, but I also do like give me a bit what's going on when you just have shit happening and I don't know how this tech works. You just go right into him crashing, which okay, that sequence was kind of fun because he hits like an asteroid belt, and he ends up finding this pod which has this little girl named Koa. The next day, this girl Koa can't speak English apparently, which for me, why? If you're gonna have those two, why didn't you just have her speak English? It ruined the movie. It's distracting, man. Like, I hate to say, even sign language would have probably been fucking better because that's kind of what he was doing anyway. When he would say move, he would like do this little movement. It's like, why not just make her mute and then just do sign language? This would have probably been the moment of, okay, do sign language here instead of this. We're gonna have her talk, but she can't speak English. Why? It's fucking distracting. It kind of takes me out of the movie because now you got Adam Driver can't even talk to fucking anybody. You can't even kind of get any good dialogue. I get it. I like the idea, surrogate father, but you could have still did that in her speaking English, or you just make her mute and he just does sign language. I would have probably understood that more. Fuck. That's why I say wasted potential. So he ends up convincing her. He gets and this is one of the first scenes where they show his daughter. Like she sees this video, and they really beat it in your head. He misses his daughter. It's like, I understand that. You don't need to beat it in her head over and over, where every moment he has either some flashback, like even during the pod. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, when he was about to crash on the island or the planet. I keep saying island. Crash on the planet. He has like memories of his dog, which it actually made sense there. It didn't need like that scene where Koa's like looking at the video of his daughter. Like, I guess through the 2 years, that should have been probably Adam Driver in that scene. And that should have been like way later in the movie. It was so like over and over. They had to hammer it. That's another thing that was just distracting. So they end up going out because they have to go to the other half of the ship, which is able to get them off. And they throughout the film using distress signals, which I guess go to nowhere because it says message sent, but they don't ever elaborate if everyone saw it either. So, because I guess he ends up lying to her and telling her that her family's on the mountain. So the dinosaurs start attacking. The first dinosaur we see are these they look like little velociraptors, kind of. Like, if they were like velociraptors, like accurate in size, not like the Jurassic Park ones. Then you got like these four-legged dinos, which these ones looked ugly to me. These ones look like straight up aliens. I'm not against movies like making dinosaurs bloodthirsty creatures. If you're gonna do that, at least make them still look like dinosaurs. Those look straight up like aliens. Like, you could have easily take the dinosaur stuff out of it and make it some generic alien planet, and it would still work. That was my problem with it. You could interchange the aliens and dinosaurs. You can interchange. Like, those four-legged things did not look like dinosaurs at all. Like, not even like at least that Croc T-Rex thing that you see later in the movie. That looks like somewhat a T-Rex. It looked like a T-Rex. At least it had a T-Rex head. It looked like one. This just looked like a straight up. They look like aliens, man. Just like some aliens you'd see in like some alien game where you gotta shoot. And then the other problem I had, which this was one I actually saw someone else point out, but honestly, I have to agree. I didn't like that Adam had a lot of tech. It should have just been the gun, but he had like all these grenades. Okay, if he had like 2 or 3, but he had like a bunch. So it was just a get out of jail free card. That was another thing that was taking the stakes out of it, because he had like all these weapons. If you're going to do this isolation thing, have it to be he has like only a couple rounds in his gun and then a couple grenades. Maybe 3, 4 max. But like, he had like, it was at least 10. And he was using them throughout the film. It's like, how many fucking grenades did that shit have? Like, have it to where the tech is destroyed, or like a lot of the grenades and weapons are destroyed, and maybe he's only able to scrounge a couple of ammo, a bit of ammo. Like, that's what it should have been. Like, if you're gonna do survival, it should have been more survival horror, not just survival horror, because that's what makes it scary. Like, one of the things that made the original Alien scary is they didn't really have weapons, not a lot anyway. The Thing, they had a couple weapons, but what made it scary was they didn't have a lot of it, and they were by themselves. So if you're gonna do that, don't have it to explain away like why the tech isn't. Because when you just have all this tech, it does take me out of it. Because it's just like, okay, we'll just shoot everything. Okay. And I think if they were going for more of like an action, like I guess Aliens versus Alien thing, where they wanted to be more of like an action film. But even in Aliens, they eventually ran out of weapons. So it's like, I'd rather that. I just think that's scarier to me. I don't know. So they end up running into this cave, um, and this is where Koa and because they get attacked by the I'm gonna call it a croc T-Rex thing. I don't even really know what it's called, but I'll just say T-Rex for all intents and it's a T-Rex with forearm with like it walks like a Komodo dragon crocodile, but it attacks the cave and they end up surviving, but they're like locked in the cave. And he tries. This is where she finds out he lied, and they argue. But it's a problem they can't communicate. It's distracting. It's just I know I actually may have to make this a rant because I am definitely ranting more in this video than I thought I would. It's just the more everything's like hitting me. So they end up getting out of the cave though because he ends up using the grenades, which that's just a get out of jail free card. It's just so she ends up running off. She gets attacked by the little velociraptor. She ends up dodging it while Mills gets caught in a quicksand, which you see earlier. I thought the scene where they helped the dinosaur out of the quicksand, I guess, was kind of cool. And the CGI in general, I'll admit, positive. CGI was pretty good. Like the dinosaurs looked pretty in terms of like they looked real. It didn't look like shit, especially the big T-Rex in the end. But just the lack of characters. Sorry about the dripping. Sorry, guys. I did not think it'd be fucking raining again. So, she helps Adam get out of the cave, the quicksand. They get to the ship. They're about to leave before the extinction event is about to. You see the asteroids coming out, which I'll admit that looked cool too. So I guess there was a bit of stakes in the end, but it's also like they're gonna get out. So the T-Rex attacks the ship. They manage to make it out. They seemingly kill it. Adam shoots it, and it like falls over, but then it gets out. And then they end up making it to the geyser, which that's what finally kills it. Because Koa ends up like stabbing it in the eye, and then it like is right over the geyser, and the geyser kills it. They get to the ship before the event, the asteroids hit. They make it off. So and then I guess we get like a quick because I guess I didn't even know there was a post-credit scene, but there was basically you see like I guess Earth in modern times. Which here's my problem with like this movie was such a waste. There was good ideas here, but it should have been a group, not just him and this little girl. Or if you're gonna do him and the little girl, she should have had dialogue. Because this whole back and forth, it was distracting to me. It was taking me out of the movie. The lack of herbivores was just, I'm sorry, it was distracting to me as a dinosaur fan. It just, what are the fucking carnivores eating? They have to eat something. 6 out of 10, guys. It's not a horrible movie, but it's such wasted potential. I think I wanted more from it because I think this is going to be another dinosaur movie I don't even think it was a good B movie. I don't know if I'll ever go back to this one. I wanted this one to be decent, I wanted something like Jurassic Park needs like a competitor. It just seems like no one wants to do it right. I do like the idea of it trying to make dinos scary, which I guess that one aspect I did like. If I have to give another positive, they try to do scary dinosaurs. Which the carnivores they got right. It's the lack of herbivores, but it was cool that the dinosaurs were trying to kill them and they weren't like saving them and stuff like some of the later Jurassics kind of got. So it's just, I don't know. I just wanted more from this movie, and yeah. So I'll talk about that more tomorrow in a video. I'll go into like what I personally would have done with it, because I think there is really some good ideas here, and they just didn't tap their potential with it. So anyway, later tonight, Shazam 2 review, and then tomorrow that video, and then yeah, that'll be it. So take it 6 out of 10. I'd say if you're gonna watch it, wait till like streaming, and it probably should have been a streaming movie, to be honest. Like that was the other thing I was feeling, at least more in my rewatch of it, that this probably should have just been a streaming movie. Like they should have just released this like on Netflix. Maybe it would have did better if it was like on Netflix or like Amazon, one of those streaming services. So, but yeah, I'd just say if you're gonna watch, do it there. I don't know if really feel the need to see it in theaters. Besides, the asteroid scenes were kind of cool in the theater. That was a good one, but yeah, you don't really need I would recommend really not see it in theaters. Just wait till certain streaming service. It'll be on there eventually. So other than that, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Take one minute. As usual, talk to y'all later tonight. Fuck Joe Biden. Peace.